Yeah, we.
Don't cross this because you're gonna get. Okay, whatever.
Full squad, it looks like. Zero, good plays, good plays. One for the squeeze here.
Coming up behind you, Expel. Here, are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun.
Thank you.
There you go.
Still want to random time. Nice job, nice job.
Zero, you on it? Okay, I'm with you.
Guys,
Shot time?
don't get too aggro. Don't get too aggro.
Killed them both. Let's go.
Brother.
Yeah, these guns are really hard. Prestige will be nearby. Plane coming.
Massage,
One shot. Just one shot.
knock this Bobby. Good swing, baby, good swing. This is gonna be a good team if you got Bobby on the team. Hey, let's get some untags here. You're $500 short from buying someone back, by the way.
Yeah, I'm also like 5 feet away from somebody after us.
Oh,
Yep,
right,
that would be
right.
deputy.
You want to rotate left still?
I want to pinch these kids.
So what's up, guys? It's here by Nino or Quachi, and welcome back to another video of Call of Duty Warzone Pacific. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the best settings now that Warzone Pacific is out, and they kind of have changed some things around. And if you guys want the best settings in terms of controller, graphics, audio so you can sound horror enemies, you guys want to be able to perform at the best top tier level that you can here in Call of Duty Warzone on the new Caldera map, which I have already showcased on my channel in case you guys are curious. If you guys are excited for these settings, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on those post notifications. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and we're less than 5,000 away. With the rest of this year, with the rest of Caldera and, you know, future Warzone maps to come, I want to provide the best class setups, the best entertainment possible for you guys to kind of learn from and just be entertained from, honestly, here in Call of Duty Warzone. So if that interests you, make sure you guys do subscribe. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's talk about these settings and what the most optimal settings are for you as a player. Now, I do play on PC, but a lot of these settings should transfer over to console as well, because I do play on PS5 as well, but I mostly play on PC just because PC has FOV and everything. So we're gonna go over some PC settings first here. So display mode, full screen borderless. It's easier for me personally. It's better to play on full screen though if you run like a double PC monitor or a double monitor setup, or if you're not a content creator like me, just run full screen. Full screen's your way to go. I have a 2070 GPU. Screen refresh rate, obviously have it as high as possible. Render resolution, if your PC can handle it, then make it at 100, so you at least have, you know, 1920 by 1080p. But me, I just have 95 because my rig isn't the best. Dynamic resolution should be off. This should be off. Aspect ratio automatic. Sync every frame, VSync should be off. Custom frame rate limit, gameplay custom, since I have a 144 Hz monitor, I go up to 160 just so I don't overstress my PC. Menu custom frame limit is going to be at 60 because obviously we don't want it to overwork in the menus. And then out of focus doesn't really matter, just keep it as the same as gameplay custom. Brightness is at 54, you don't really got to change the brightness on Caldera because it's such a beautiful map, way better than Verdansk visually. Display gamma 2.2 sRGB, NVIDIA highlights disabled, and NVIDIA reflex low latency should be enabled. Don't do enabled plus boost, and I guess you put on disabled too, but enabled should help you a lot. I almost forgot. Graphics is actually divided into display and quality here. So obviously we got to go for the quality settings for here. So FOV is going to be 120 FOV with ADS field of view at independent. Having a higher field of view allows you to see more enemies on your screen, which is very important. And then by having ADS field of view, when you're aiming down sights, your sights will zoom in better on opponents at far range, so that you'll be able to track them easier if they're far away. And since Caldera has a lot of long lines of sights, and this map is going to be mostly AR and sniper dominated, having it on independent is actually an advantage. You could do affected if you want, but I personally like independent so that I'm able to zoom in closer to my opponents. Camera movement is another feature that they added to this game, which I kind of don't like. So it's going to be 100 by default, lower it to 50%. It's going to make it a lot better to use. Streaming quality is going to be low. Texture resolution, normal. Texture filter, anti-scroll rip here, normal. Particle quality low. Bullets, impacts, and sprays. I like looking at my sprays enabled. Tessellation disabled. Dismemberment and gore effects enabled. On-demand texture streaming, I have it as standard so it doesn't take up too much internet. Filmic strength is at 1, film grain at 0, so it makes your game look a lot beautiful. NVIDIA DLSS, I just have it at balanced. Depth of field disabled, world motion blur disabled, and weapon motion blur disabled. This is very important to have disabled because obviously if you look to the right, how are you going to be able to see an opponent if you're moving around and everything's just blurry around you. It's just not smart to have world motion blur or weapon motion blur enabled. So just have it disabled for that reason. Shadow map resolution low, cache spot shadows, you know, disabled, particle lighting low, DirectX ray tracing disabled, ambient occlusion disabled, SSR disabled. And that should finish up our graphic settings now, finally. Okay, next up we got interface here. Now, I keep subtitles on because when you have subtitles on, you're able to pretty much see the callouts before you can even, like, hear them. So that's going to make you a lot more versatile on the map. All of this should be default. You can also change your HUD bounds, but there's no point in doing that. Minimap shape should be square. You should not have it as circle, because if you have it as a circle, it's gonna kind of like mess you up. Let me move my face cam up so you guys can kind of see. You have a higher surface area by having the minimap as a square, because that's just mathematically possible. You know, a circle is gonna have less area than a square. So make sure you guys have a square on instead. Minimap rotation should be on. Compass cardinal direction text should be letters or numbers. That's kind of a personal preference. Kill feed duration, I like to have extended so I can kind of remember like who's kind of tryharding on the map, how many kills my teammates are getting, just so I can see that information. It's pretty useful information here that you can use from the kill feed. And everything else here should be pretty much default. I have frames per second counter enabled, server latency enabled, packet loss enabled. The rest of these don't really matter, but if you're on PC, this will tell you pretty much if your computer is underperforming or overperforming, which is very useful if you're kind of like a tech whiz. But yeah, everything else is like that. Next up, we got audio settings. And for our audio mix, we got boost low. Boost low is the best way to hear footsteps in this game, and footsteps are very, very necessary to hear in Caldera, especially in Warzone, especially like in the end circle. So boost low is the way to go. Master volume should be at 100 unless the volume is just way too high for you. Like, it could be kind of damaging to your ears, so you could put it down however you want, but master volume should be at 100 if you want to be able to sound whore as much as possible. Music volume should be all the way down. Even though the music is kind of banging on this game, it's going to be very distracting from trying to hear footsteps and enemy callouts, so definitely keep that low. Dialogue volume could be a little bit higher, but not too high, so that you can really focus on the effects volume, which is going to, you know, show off the bassy footstep sounds. Footsteps are very important in this game, like I said before, and this is definitely the sound volume that you want to have at max. Cinematics doesn't matter. Juggernaut music, that doesn't matter. Hit markers don't matter. That's all personal preference. And all of this is personal preference, so yeah, do that however you want. And last but not least, I play on controller, so I have controller settings. I don't play on keyboard and mouse. You know, if you have keyboard and mouse, you're gonna have to look at somebody else for that, but I'm a controller player, so this can help, you know, console players and everything like that. So for my button layout on BR, I like to play on bumper, jumper, tactical, flipped, and you do flip by pressing square. As you can see there, I can switch it from square and everything. And basically with this, I use a PS4 controller, and basically I can jump with L2, aim with L1, shoot with R1, and then drop shot or slide with R3 here, which is gonna make me a very, very dangerous opponent, because basically, I kind of have like a custom-made scuff in my hands, which is very, very useful. I'll be able to jump shot, drop shot, basically have mastery of the movement, which is very key in Warzone, where your time to kill is extremely high, and you want to be able to dodge opponents. So definitely put this on if you want to be able to outplay your opponents in the best ways possible. Stick layout preset, default, invert vertical look, disabled. Left stick and right stick minimum input dead zone should be at least 0.1. It's just the best way so that you don't have any stick drift on your controller. Left stick max input dead zone and right stick max input dead zone. You can leave that however you want. Horizontal stick sensitivity and vertical stick sensitivity. I like to have it at 8. It's not too fast and not too slow. It's just right so that I can turn left and right. I can turn on an opponent quickly, but it's also a lot more stickier on my aim, you know, so that I'm not like dragging my aim everywhere if I was at a high sensitivity. Obviously, this is personal preference at the end of the day. You can lower it to have a better accuracy, or you can hide in it so you can turn on opponents easier, but I just like it right in the middle because it's that nice little sweet spot where I want to be able to turn on opponents and be able to lock onto them pretty nicely. ADS sensitivity multiplier, I like this at 0.9, which is, you know, very, very attractive to have stickier aim while you're aiming down sights. And luckily, they also imported this setting from Vanguard, where you can have a custom sensitivity per zoom. So from low zoom to 3x zoom, I keep that 0.9. But when you're going from 4x zoom to all the way to the high zoom, I like to have it at 1.20 or higher. Because since you're at a closer zoom, your scope is going to be moving a lot slower. And sometimes you don't want to have that slow of a scope. So having it higher allows you to pretty much move your scope a lot faster and have better aim, so that you're able to take down your opponents quickly, which is very important. Aim response curve type is going to be dynamic here. As you guys can see, dynamic is very important because it's going to give you the most stickiest aim. You could put on standard or linear, but I just recommend dynamic because it's the best one. That's what a lot of pro players use, including myself. Standard aim assist, none of these other aim assists really matter. Scale aim assist with FOV, you could use either one. I just keep it disabled. Weapon mount shared input, ADS plus melee. Weapon mount exit enabled. ADS behavior, hold. Equipment hold. Use/reload behavior. Have this on contextual tap. Because instead of holding square to pick up loot, you'll now be able to pick up loot at the press of square. You want to be able to loot fast, so this is going to allow you to loot faster, which is very important in the BR, especially if you're trying to get like your loadouts or armor plates or whatever the case is, so definitely have this on. Depleted ammo weapon switch enabled, armor plated behavior, you could do apply one or apply all, depends on what you like to play with. Slide behavior is also important. Make sure you tap, because if you're not able to, if you do it on hold, it's going to take you, it's going to be less responsive to sliding. You want to be able to slide as fast as possible because you're probably trying to dodge bullets or trying to get somewhere faster. So tap is your way to go. Auto move forward disabled because if you have auto move forward, you might run into campers and they might kill you and they'll catch you off guard. Tactical sprint, double tap, just going to make it easier. Automatic sprint, once again, disabled. That's my opinion. You're just going to die to campers if you have it on. And yeah, this is enabled. So yeah, this is what I like to rock with. Let me know what you guys think of my settings here for Call of Duty Warzone Pacific. Like I said, I was able to play the game early. I got a hands-on usage with these settings and everything against other pro players, and they seem pretty effective. So yeah, let me know if these settings helped you guys. Like I said before, these are going to be the best settings for you to use in the future of Caldera and Warzone. Like I said, I was able to play the game early, got hands-on early access, and all these settings work out for me. So yeah, if this helps you become a better player, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. I'm going to have the best entertaining gameplay content ever, or at least I'll try to. You know, I'm not the best player ever, but I'll try to be entertaining as possible. And I'll try to give you guys tips along the way so you guys can learn all the ins and outs of Caldera and keep you updated on Warzone Pacific this year. So yeah, I really love you guys. Thank you for being beautiful, amazing supporters. And I hope we have a good year with Vanguard Warzone or Warzone Pacific or Caldera, whatever you want to call it, here for 2022. So yeah, I really freaking love you guys. Keep being big ballers. Let me know what guns I should cover in my future videos and keep being amazing. Bye. I love you all.